You may be surprised to learn, I know I was, that in July, 25% of our sales were sold at or above asking price. And in August, that number jumped up a little bit to 28%. So what is happening in the Naples market? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the latest market numbers and what they mean for you as a buyer or a seller. But I'm not just going to talk to you about the latest market numbers. I also just got some insights recently into Naples' growth trajectory. Try to say that word 3 times fast. And I have a lot to share with you about how we're growing and where we're growing. So stick around, I'm going to talk about that after we go through the numbers. First, real quick, if this is your first visit to my channel, I'm Alicia Shivers. I'm a full-time resident and realtor here in Naples, Florida. If you want to learn all about Naples and where the best places to live are, then hit the subscribe button so you'll be the first to know about the Naples market. If you're thinking about moving to Naples or investing in Naples, call, email, or text me so I can help you make a smooth move here. Okay, let's tackle the market first. I feel like I've been talking to you nonstop about the low inventory of homes for sale, and unfortunately that trend continues. Just as a refresher, in January 2020, just before the pandemic started, we had 12,493 homes for sale in all of Naples and Southwest Florida. Our low point was in February of 2022 when we had 1,892 properties for sale in all of Southwest Florida. As of September 2023, we had 7,695 properties for sale. That's a 38% drop from pre-pandemic days. When looking back historically, normal levels of inventory of homes for sale in our area is usually around 13,000. And that's also including new builds from builders. However, on a positive note, we did see an uptick in new listings coming to market over the last couple of weeks. It's too early to say if this is a trend. We'll just have to continue to watch it. Ultimately, though, the rate at which new listings are coming to market is about 18% down from pre-pandemic days, which is way, way below normal for us. For buyers who are waiting for that onslaught of inventory to hit the market, there's just nothing right now suggesting that there's going to be a huge spike in inventory. If we look back historically, January and February are the 2 months when we see the most new listings come to market. We'll just have to see how this January and February turns out. Let's talk about properties going under contract, which means that they are in a pending status. Those numbers are actually trailing last year's activity. In fact, the pace of newly pended sales is down 3% from pre-pandemic days. The message here for sellers is that we're essentially back to normal. So then what about prices? The low inventory of homes for sale is still keeping our prices elevated, but I know that you're seeing price adjustments and you're seeing homes sell for less than asking price. First, let's address the price adjustments. If we look at the stats over the last couple of years, on average, about less than 10% of the inventory is adjusting their price on a weekly basis. Now, take that with a grain of salt because obviously the inventory levels are going to fluctuate. And as for homes selling for less than asking price, yes, right now our average is around 96%. Meaning that homes are selling on average about 96% of their asking price. So here in Naples, we are gearing up for another season, but with very little inventory on the market for sale, it's anybody's guess as to how the season is actually going to go. Plus, next year is an election year, and we tend to think that elections wreak havoc on buying and selling. Interestingly enough, though, when we look back historically at election years, buyer activity drops roughly 3 to 7% coming up to an election due to uncertainty. But in the 12 weeks following an election, activity rebounds. And it's also generally thought that hurricanes tend to put a damper on buying and selling activity. And while that's true leading up to a storm and directly in the aftermath of the storm, really 30 to 45 days after a storm, activity rebounds again. In fact, Tim Matten just said something similar recently. If you don't know Tim Matten, he writes a column in Gulf Shore Business Magazine called In the Know. Tim is fantastic for answering all of our questions about what's coming and going, what's being built, what's being torn down. Even Tim said that Naples appears to be unstoppable despite hurricanes and the pandemic, Naples is on a growth trajectory. So here's what Tim had to share. Right now, the population of Naples, Collier County essentially, is around 400,000. Build out for us is going to be around 840,000 residents. And that is currently projected to be around the year 2090. These are all estimates, of course, based on current data. What's even more interesting, though, is that the majority of the population of Collier County, 52%, is expected to live east of Collier Boulevard. If you think about it, it makes sense. All of the development to the west is really built out. It's really just little infill areas that are available to be built, or tearing down old to build something new in its place. All of the raw land is out east still. Future rural villages have been approved by Collier County. They include Rivergrass, Belmar, Hyde Park, and Longwater. You may have heard about the town of Big Cypress. That will essentially serve and connect the villages of Rivergrass, Belmar, and Longwater. Just think about the town of Ave Maria and how that has evolved since 2005. That's essentially what we're talking about with the town of Big Cypress. Tim also pointed out that Naples is seeing more invitation-only venues, things like the Butcher, the Maddox. I think there's something called the Warren Whiskey Club and Blue Provence. And there's just more upscale dining coming to Naples than ever before. Tim referred to it as the Four Seasons effect because the Four Seasons is currently building where the old Naples Beach Hotel location was. He said it was similar to when the Ritz came in the 80s. That was the Ritz-Carlton effect. Now we're having the Four Seasons effect. And if you drive east on Route 41, just past downtown Naples, when you reach the intersection of Davis Boulevard and 41, you just can't help but notice that Bay Shore Gateway Triangle that's being developed. I mean, it's shocking when you come across it. It's the first building is going to be the Metropolitan, which I understand is going to be 15 stories, and then there's a second building called the Ellington, which is 10 stories. It's going to be a mix of apartments and condos and restaurants and shops, but it's quite a spectacle when you come across it. And then across from the triangle, just a little further east of that, is where the Little Italy restaurant used to be. They've cleared that parcel of land, and it's going to be a 438-room hotel with a conference center and understory parking. If you drive along Route 41, just south of Pine Ridge Road and north of Park Shore Drive, you'll see a big building being built there. That is going to be rooms to go. They are combining their two stores that they currently have in Naples into one big store. And then out on Immokalee Road, just west of the interstate, they just cleared a parcel of land there. That is going to be where the Germain Lexus is going to have their new dealership. And there's also an apartment complex, I believe it's called Aspire, that's going there as well. And then out east, in the estates, Randall at Orange Tree project. That's going to be a mixed-use development there. They already have a McDonald's going up first. Then out on Oil Well Road, next to Palmetto High School, is going to be the Shops at Orange Blossom. They haven't broken ground yet, but Tim says that there's supposed to be a Publix there, probably sometime in 2025. And just some other notable things that Tim mentioned is the Great Wolf Lodge, which is currently under construction down there in the City Gate area, which is the south end of town. The Collier Rod and Gun Club is planned for off Oil Well Road. Collier County has a future elementary school planned along Immokalee Road. Tim was saying he expects them to break ground soon on that. Tim also pointed out the obvious that we have infrastructure issues, which we all agree with. They're extending Vanderbilt Beach Road to the east, about 7 miles inland. But like Tim pointed out, you know, we do these expansion projects or extensions, and by the time it's done, you know, that road is already filled. We already need more lanes. And as Naples continues to add luxury apartment complexes, which is great, but we still have a workforce housing issue. And as Tim pointed out, there just is no easy solution within reach. We've had a crazy number of restaurants come to the area, some that are currently in process, including Twin Peaks and Bahama Breeze down at the Coastland Center. We've had Mission Barbecue open here. We've had Kelly's Roast Beef open. They've got another 1 or 2 locations planned in Naples as well. There's apparently a Greek restaurant coming to the old Bow Campers location. We have something called Ore and Iron coming to Founders Square, and there's apparently a second location planned for the Coastland Center Mall. J. Alexander's is coming to Naples. And for those of you who may have been familiar with Pastrami Dan's, they were here for decades. Aquarius Hotel will be going in that location. So all of this just kind of touches upon the growth that's happening in Naples, the changes that we're seeing. So if you're thinking that you'd like to get down here and explore the area a little bit, see what all the changes are that are taking place, maybe some of those names of those restaurants are familiar to you and you're excited because they're coming to Florida, great. We'd love to have you down here. Just let me know. All of my information is below. Reach out to me and I'd love to help you start exploring Naples and how it might fit for you.